Hello, everyone. I'm Maddox Brown with New England MMA News, and I'm here with Jay, the Joker Perrin. How you doing, Jay?
I'm hanging in there, brother. How are you?
Good. So we're gonna get into your upcoming fight. You're fighting Jay Presley at
Sure.
Cage Titans 67 on September 14th for the Cage Titans bantamweight title. Can you break down the matchup for us and how you see the fight playing out for you?
So this is a fun fight. I think this is a really good fight. It should be definitely exciting for fans. We're two guys that are very, I think, like styled in that we're very well rounded. I think that Jay has a jack of all trades, kind of like myself, not really like a specialist in any one thing. He's got really well rounded skills. Like he's got good straight punching, he's got good leg kicks, and he mixes up his strikes pretty well on the feet. And he's got decent wrestling as well. So you know what I mean. I think that, and obviously he finished Johnny by ground and pound. He's got some impressive ground and pound, and he gets good position. So I think that the matchup plays well. I don't think that he's bad particularly anywhere. I think that I'm just a little bit better in certain positions than him, and there are certain parts of his game that he uses that I can exploit. Not that he's particularly like most of my opponents. I have to say that this person is just isn't as good as me here or there or that. I think that that's not true. I think we're a little bit more even than it seems. Um, I think that just in scramble situations, I'm a little better, and I put combinations together better, a little better than him. So I think that it'll be a good back and forth for the first few rounds, but rounds 4 and 5 are mine. They've always been mine. And I think what's really going to affect this fight is the pace that I keep. And I think that's what breaks everybody at fifth rounds, particularly for me, is that I can keep a pace that most people can't for from round 1 to round 5. It's just steady. And as if you've watched my 5 round fights, I get more output as time goes on. So the first round, I usually probably drop, and Jay comes out pretty strong. So it's very possible he might even take that one from me. But as time goes on, the longer the fight goes, the more it'll benefit me.
Uh, what what do you think will be your keys to victory in this fight?
Um, I would say lateral, a lot of lateral movement. You know what I mean? Can't stand right in front of him. He's fast. He's got good snapping punches straight forward, especially good head move. And I got to stay busy. You know what I mean? I can't let him dictate the pace of the fight. If I take the center, he has a tendency to circle around the cage instead of kind of stay center. He likes to circle a lot. So when I do that, I can't follow him because he's really good at that. He's good at drawing you in for the big shot, right? For the big takedown. So if I just cut off the cage, and fill the space a little bit better and use my feints, and just kind of flow, a lot of the time when I just say fuck it and let my hands go, um, good things happen. So I think that if I, stay patient and measured and cut him off, because he's got really good lateral movement, if I can cut off the cage on him really well, I can hone in on him and start to unload.
What do you think this fight will do for your career moving forward? Do you think you could get another shot at the UFC?
Who knows, man? I'm 1-1 in my last two. You know what I mean? So I have to put a few together before I really even think about that. Presley is like I like to think about my career, but not past the person that I'm fighting. What it does for my career, I'm not really sure. Sorry, I just got a text message over there. I'm not really sure. And it'll give me another belt, another thing that I can say that I've done, and at the end of my career I can be proud of. Will it lead to something? I don't know. I don't maybe not. Not that Jay Presley wouldn't be a good win. It would just be I think I have to roll a few more before I'm considered. Not that like it's out of the realm of possibility that I get picked up somewhere, but I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket. All I'm gonna do is just focus on the task I have right now, and whatever comes of it may come of it. But I just want to win. I just want to win this belt, and then fucking we'll go from there, baby. But if it does, cool. If not, then I'm cool with just doing it again.
What do you anticipate will be the biggest challenge Jay will present in this fight?
It's very athletic. You know what I mean? I think he'll be able to keep up with me for a little while. And he doesn't have a lot of wasted movement. When he strikes, it's not big. Like he doesn't cork or even in tight combinations, he's very tight. You know what I mean? He keeps his combinations pretty clean. I think that'll give me some trouble. And like I said, what he does very well, and he did very well in the Johnny fight is that he feints. He goes high and low very well. So I have to just make sure that I'm uh I'm on my P's and Q's there because he's very good at filling the space and distracting you with one thing and then going and doing another.
How do you think your past fights have helped you prepare for this one?
I've seen everything now. I've seen everything you can throw at me, and I know the degree of my skill at this point. I think I have a lot of high level experience, and I've never lost a 5 round fight. I've never lost a 5 round fight. This will be my fourth one, and all of them have been pretty dominant every time that I've gone in there. So, I treat it like a world title fight because to me it is. So I think that experience definitely plays into account. Experience that I have a lot more cage time, especially in big championship fights than he does, and I think that'll come into play. He comes from a good school. They got good things going over there at Sakeli Fitness pardon me, Sakeli MMA. I'm not sure what the actual name of the gym is, but I know Mike Sakeli is a good guy and they have a good coach. And but I think that overall, I just if he's right here, I'm about right here. And it's just I'm a little better than him everywhere. And I think it's mostly because I've been doing this since I was 14. I've known his coach back since before, he was fighting. So, it's kind of like a generational thing at this point that how long I've been around. So Jay is on like a surge, and I appreciate that a lot because we're both kind of in the same position. If you think about it, we're both trying to make a little bit of a comeback in our own careers. So I respect him as the mirror to me. But man, I've just given up too much, and I have to miss a lot for this. And I'm prepared to die on September 14th. I'm not leaving there without my own belt. So I think that's another thing is that I'm going in there to come out on my shield if I have to.
Who are going to be some of your key training partners in this training camp?
I got Randy Costa always. I get to work with Joe Lozon and the Lozon crew a lot. Let's see who else. Our Mark McKay, who is one of our students at Lozon, he's very, very, very great hands. Brandon Avila, who's a great purple belt, brown belt, pardon me. Those are my main guys, but Randy's been my biggest training partner for near a little over a year now. So we get a lot of work together, with he just won his name's Damani. I just forget his last name, blanking off the top of my head. Just won at CES. So we got a nice little crew that we have in Rhode Island and Lozons that we work with, like Gary Bolettos and Sahib Jackson and all them. So it's a real good group, real large group, but a lot of mix of different talents and skills.
What does fighting for this Cage Titans title again mean to you personally and professionally?
Especially just because at 135, that is my home. I should be there. That's that's the division I belong in. I fought at 145 and I thought I could do that against real 45ers. And unfortunately, I had a good fight with a real 45er that's very tough. I think he's gone on to win like 3 or 4 more fights since fighting me. Um, and they're too big. So for professionally, it's just to kind of remind me of where I belong, and this is my division. And I got into the I don't like to cut weight thing, so I'm just gonna go to 45, and that's just not it. Personally, man, it's just I got a lot. I gotta without saying like too much. It's just I've had a rough couple years. Obviously, it's been my career went from a 9 fight win streak to like 4-1-4. And that's a tough twist. The game is cruel. So I'd like to just get back in her good graces and know that all that I'm working for is worth something. You know what I mean? Like I've worked really, really hard. Anybody that's ever trained with me knows that I am in the gym early and I leave the gym late. So it has never been anything to do with my work ethic. It has everything to do with just like executing and doing it. And personally, you might see some tears from me if when they strap the belt on me, just because it's been a long road back. It's been really tough mentally since leaving the UFC and having a lot of personal problems happen. And for me, I'm holding it all in because it's driving me forward in my camps. And it'll mean the world to me, not only to win the title that I never lost back, um, but to do it in front of, my hometown. And, there's a little part of me that's like kind of cool with, you know, fighting and ex-teammates protege a little bit, being the obstacle that stands in their way a little bit. Not that I'm trying to play the bad guy, but that's still a nice little cool caveat to that. So it's a lot of things, but mostly to prove to myself that I'm still worthy of being who I say I am.
What should the fans at the Plymouth Memorial Hall expect from Jay Perrin on September 14th?
I'm coming to swing, bro. You know what I mean? I'm just kind of I want to stand in the middle and start hitting each other. We're both. I think our wrestling will probably cancel each other out, so it's going to turn into a boxing match. And you know what, baby? I think that that's my game, brother. So I think that me and Jay are going to put on a good, technical, high pace match. I really do. I think it's going to take a lot of energy from the crowd to even watch. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's the type of fight where if I know I don't carry best to prepare for, then I'm going to get caught slipping. So I think that the two J's, right? There can only be one, and I'm going to come out victorious on September 14th. No matter what. But I still think that me and Jay are going to give a show for the crowd, absolutely indefinitely. So it'll be definitely be one of the main events to remember this year.
Can you give us your final message to Jay Presley before you fight on the 14th?
Jay, I respect you, and I have a lot of respect for your coach, and I am coming from a guy who is in the same boat as you, man. We're both trying to go to the same place, and unfortunately, we have to run into each other. But this time, I got to run through you, and I intend to. September 14th, if you don't bring your absolute best, then you're gonna be going home for a long night. So uh, I'll see you then, brother. Let's put on a show for the fans, get violent, and one of us has got to go home. But that doesn't mean we can't shake hands, have a beer after.
So I got my last couple questions. This is about the background, how you got into MMA. What inspired you to start your MMA career?
My family, my family. I come from a long line of boxers. So, boxing just wasn't a thing at the time for me. So I got into jujitsu um, at like 13, 14. And then from there, you just surround the culture, you hang around the fighters, and you're like, I want to do this. And then I became like the last fighter in my family. So I'm really the last one. I don't think there's going to be any more other than me. I didn't have a son. I don't know if my daughter will really follow in those footsteps. So I'm kind of holding the torch for the rest of us. That's how I really got into it. And it's always just something that I was good at. I was always good at fighting and figuring it out, and it always challenged me in a way that I love. So I just loved it from the beginning. The first time I sparred and got my ass kicked, I realized there's so much more that I can learn, and that's I think what makes me love it the most is that I'm always learning.
How did you find the gyms you train at now?
Well, so Lozon's was I trained a lot of places. I trained with Mike Skelly, my opponent's coach at Triumph Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, but that had a whole story with it. And so I had to end up moving to a different gym, which was Sit Yatong, right? And at the time we had kind of cross trained between them. So after a while, I just kind of transitioned to there. And then I had no Joe, obviously from the shows, and we'd always gotten along, and he'd always invited me to train, but I lived too far away really to get to him at the time. And then when I came home from Vegas after the UFC, I got into a really bad rut. I got fat, and I didn't want to do anything. And Joe was the one who reached out to me, and he said, "Hey man, don't worry about paying. Just come here, get the reps in. You should be in the gym." And I came in about a year and a half ago, and I've just stayed. So that's basically how I go those gyms. It's just knowing people through the community and then talking.
What has been the most memorable moment of your career so far?
Even though I lost at Salt Lake City, I got chance for USA, and my hand didn't get raised, but it certainly felt like it did. I got cheered all the way out. There was like 17, 20,000 people there, something like that. I don't know what it was when I fought. And for them to cheer, my name and do that and look around, even though in a loss, I gained so much in that moment. So I really got to, at least in one of those performances, show out so that I was a real legitimate mixed martial artist that, in my opinion, I won. But that one I'll remember forever. You know what I mean? I held my hands up and I had thousands of people cheer for me. So that I'll never forget.
Do you have any special shout outs to sponsors, teammates, and supporters before I let you go?
Shout outs to I don't really rock with sponsors. I don't really try to just because it's a lot of work and I just want to fight and win. I don't have any. If you'd like to sponsor me, be my guest. Shout out to Lozons, shout out to Peter Barrett, shout out to Randy Costa, especially Joe Lozon, all the guys that are, spending their afternoons, taking time away from their lives to make sure that I'm prepared and pushing me in the gym. I really, really appreciate that. And to everybody that supports me, and comes to all of my fights, I'm a polarizing character at football, but that do show me love. I really, really do appreciate you guys. And all I want to do is put on fun, exciting performances for you guys from now on. I intend to be completely dominant as I do all the time, but I really, really do believe September 14th we're gonna have a fucking banger of a fight, and whoever does get their hand raised will truly deserve to be called the champion of cage type.
All right. Thank you for coming on.